Welcome back, everyone. In this video today, we're going to be walking you through how to troubleshoot payload decoders and debug logs in Datacake using the brand new Datacake AI Assistant. So if data isn't showing up correctly, fields aren't updating, or rules aren't triggering as you would expect them to, the AI assistant is going to best help you inspect payloads, compare them with decoder logic, and identify common mistakes a lot faster. To start, we're going to find the debug log inside of your device. So we're going to click on said device and go straight to our debug log, which is just in these top tabs here. In the instance of my device, it is integrated using the Datacake LNS. So any uplink is received via webhook data from the LNS. So before we get into the troubleshooting itself, let's quickly just review the data flow. So first, you're going to see that your device or integration will send an uplink or a payload, which is what appears below here. After the webhook data is received from the LNS, the next step is the payload decoder is going to parse that information. After this, the decoded values are going to be stored as fields, which you can find under the configuration tab in your device. Dashboards, rules, and alerts all pull from these fields and these values in order to populate your dashboard. And behind all of it, the debug logs are going to help you see what happens at every step of the way. So the AI assistant does not replace this process, but it does make it a lot easier by helping you analyze data, reviewing logs, as well as identifying possible issues a lot faster. So you can give the AI assistant the incoming payload, the decoder code, and debug log output, and then ask it to explain what may be going wrong. First, we're going to check to see the data that's actually coming through. So here we can see that there is an error coming as my payload decoder is running. We're going to work together to get to the bottom of this using the AI assistant. Before we start with the AI assistant, let's first go back to our debug log and find the latest payload. Now, when the decoder was processing things correctly, you can see the decoder actually returns the values populated accurately. So here you want to be making sure that A, the payload is arriving at all, that the variable names are correct, as you can see right here, the structure matches what your decoder expects, and the values have the expected format that you're looking for. So a very common issue is mismatched field names. For example, a decoder is going to return a temperature value with a capital T, but the Datacake field may have a lowercase t, in which case there would be a mismatch and would lead to incorrect processing. So to figure out what's going on with our payload decoder, as it is now throwing an error, we're going to copy and paste the raw payload into our AI assistant and ask it what's going on. To find the raw payload that's being sent from your device or integration, you're going to want to go into the uplink debug log right here, open the drawer, and you're going to want to find your form payload. Now, for a form payload, many of them are initially sent in base64. We're going to want to translate it into hex. The AI assistant can do this for us, which is brilliant. So we're just going to go ahead and copy our form payload and navigate to our AI assistant, which is located in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen right here. Now we're going to ask the AI assistant to help us figure out what's going wrong with the payload. So now we're going to ask the AI assistant to help have a deeper look into the payload for us. So I've just written up a very brief request for the assistant, which is analyze this incoming Datacake payload. We're going to check for the variable names, value types, possible decoder issues, and whether the payload structure itself looks valid or not. And I've also copied and pasted the raw payload that we found just before. The AI assistant has now processed our request. So it's taken the payload and transformed it from base64 into hex and has now been able to analyze it in detail. After it provides the initial information, it's going to give us some possible decoder issues to check, as well as some actionable next steps that it is able to complete on its own. So to help diagnose this, we're going to ask the AI assistant to help us run a decoder test on our behalf. Because this is an action that is going to affect what is existing inside of our workspace, it's just going to confirm with us that that action is okay. Now that we've given the AI assistant permission to use and correct our existing payload decoder, it's gone ahead and produced one that we can potentially replace it with. The assistant has given us recommendations or next steps to do, so we have a couple of options to address the problem with the payload decoder. Now I've quickly just navigated over to our payload decoder in the configuration tab and then product and hardware. Here, the AI assistant has pointed out that the root problem of our error that we're seeing is that the temperature and humidity fields are not matching up to what's being parsed by the decoder. It's given us two options. We can either go through and completely replace our payload decoder with the new one it's created for us. Or for a slightly more minimal patch, we can just go ahead and ask it to correct and make case sensitive the temperature and humidity fields. To avoid completely changing the output of our device data, we're going to ask it to implement the most minimal fix possible. Again, because this is a mutation that is going to permanently affect our workspace and there is no reversible action for this, it's just going to have us confirm that we do want it applied. The AI assistant has gone ahead and applied that fix to our product decoder. So we should now be able to go in back to our debug log, wait for the next uplink to be sent, and confirm that that error is now gone. So now that the AI assistant has saved our changed payload decoder, we're going to go back to the debug log and check to make sure that it's working. So we're going to look for the most recent uplink that was sent after the changes were made, and we're just going to see above it, the payload decoder has successfully parsed the information. The payload decoder is no longer returning the not a number error code. So now that we've gone through a real-life example of how to use the AI assistant to troubleshoot bugs that are occurring and things that you're seeing in the debug log or in the payload decoder, we are going to discuss a couple of pitfalls the AI assistant can help you detect very quickly. So as we saw, one of these is case sensitivity. So temperature in lowercase is not the same as temperature in uppercase. As we saw, we can also ask it to change our payload structure and check if our device, webhook, or even cake red flow changes if the decoder also needs to change with it. You can also use the AI assistant to analyze and assess the fields you have assigned to the device. For this device, I would actually like to see the battery reading levels on my dashboard. In order to see something on the dashboard, it first has to be assigned as a field. Now, my device right now does not have a battery field yet. We're going to ask the AI assistant to first help us see if the device sends that reading at all, and second, to see if it can incorporate it into the payload decoder and then also assign it as a field so we can see it on our dashboard. Our assistant's gone through and confirmed for us that yes, the device does report battery readings, and it's asked us how we would like that data expressed as a field, so as a percentage or as a voltage. The AI assistant has confirmed that it's made all the necessary changes to have the battery field in the decoder and double-checked it against the raw payloads found in the debug log too. Finally, it has just provided us step-by-step details on how to create the field in the UI so it's properly populated by the decoded measurements. The assistants told us to come in and add the field as a numeric value under all caps battery and make sure the unit's in voltage. We can go ahead and add that field and it'll now be populated. Now, after all the changes that the AI assistant has done for us in order to debug and troubleshoot the issues that are going on inside of our device, we're going to go back one more time to the debug log and just confirm that the payload decoder is giving us the final measurements that we're looking for. And we can finally confirm that we have all the values that we're looking for coming through successfully from our payload. So just to summarize, when you're troubleshooting decoders and debug logs in Datacake, you're going to want to start with the incoming payload, compare it with your decoder, check field identifiers, as well as inspect the debug logs. And then ultimately, now you can use the AI assistant to analyze all of that for you. So the assistant is especially useful for spotting mismatches, undefined values, any nested payload issues, and formatting problems, making all of this daunting work a lot more approachable. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.